representation of that character. Everybody recognized as a male version of that character, and it's okay to admit that. And also, it's okay to say, "Hey, the original character is a female." Is all I'm trying to say. That's it.
Those you were not having the same conversation everybody else told you. Just because I say if I said I was a woman today and everybody on this panel can agree to it, I can't make y'all call me a woman. You can't do that.
Josh,
You can't use your feelings to infringe on somebody else's rights.
They always do this, man.
Okay, fine.
And whenever we're holding MAGA accountable for Trump and Epstein and all this pedophilic shit, they always want to bring up trans issues. They always want to bring up Minnesota. They always want to go to the distraction and have hour-long discussions, but we can't have an hour-long discussion.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk. Let's have an hour. Let's see how long y'all last in this conversation. So listen, with this Epstein cap, right? It's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it cap. So why all of a sudden do people now care about a case that is virtually closed, that we are not seeing any investigation from? We're not seeing any new arrests, but we see people get arrested for these rings every day. These trial rings, trafficking and whatnot, has not slowed down. It has not stopped. If anything, I would say these Epstein files and whatnot are a deflection from what's happening every day.
Really? So man, that's an interesting point of view. I would say it's not a distraction, but it's more of opening people's eyes to understand that these people they are nefarious. When we see things like Pizzagate and people try to make it seem like pizza was not cold word for children, that is a lie, and absolutely this thing has been going on for a very long time, and people that are in powerful places are also involved in it, and it brings out it puts a spotlight on these situations so we can focus more on it, especially since Donald Trump was the main one saying he's trying to catch the PDF files, and now it comes to find out that he is a part of possibly the ring himself.
Yes, well, see, that's the thing. We know he was part of this conversation. My issue becomes he's the only one people are ready to throw the jacket on. Because I would respect it more if anybody affiliated with Epstein got the jacket. What it is people want to sift through these files, pick out names they don't like, and throw the jacket on them. See what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying, well, Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker, Vivica Fox, all pedophiles, they ran with Epstein. People are picking and choosing who they want to put the jacket on, which makes it somewhat irrelevant at this point, because if it's not all of them, then what are y'all talking about?
Okay, so that's where we are in agreement. I think if Chris Tucker, we could prove that he was a part of it more than just watching, that he had a finger up inside of him, just like Harry Weinstein and Jay-Z was there. Both they asked Jay-Z need to be right next to Harry Weinstein if he was in participating of a young lady with two fingers up her goddamn private area, whichever one it is. And so on and so forth. And that was my opening monologue, is that people only want to point out the ones that they disagree with. And, like Nicki Minaj, she want to point out Jay-Z and say Jay-Z is X, Y, and Z. Hey, the person that you was just on stage with, ma'am, his ass need to be right there with Jay-Z. Your husband that you lay next to, he possibly need to be with Jay-Z too. That cousin that you was trying to protect, his ass need to be with Jay-Z too. So if we're gonna hold it across the board and they asses in those files, I don't care what side of the position you on, all they ass need to be, in the spotlight. And I agree, it might, I agree.
But yeah, that's why I would call it a distraction. Not because it doesn't need to be talked about, dealt with. The people don't need to be highlighted. But once we highlight them, now what?
Absolutely.
Because it looks like gossip. It looks like celebrity chasing. Other than that, let's talk about it in the next layer of it, which would be criminal charges for these people, all of them. Whoever involved.
Now,
and I'm saying,
how can Jay-Z get criminal charges on something that happened in 1996 that involves a young lady? Is that a possibility?
Yes. That's a possibility.
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know the case.
Hey, Sharon.
How you doing, BT? Explain to us how it is possible that something that happened in 1996 that involved a child, by the statutes that he could still be prosecuted today.
Right. He can. Most states, um, there's no statute of limitation on sex crimes.
Mm.
So yeah, if hypothetically, if I woke up today in my young age of 40 something and decided I wanted to press charges or make a police report on something that happened to me at 15, 10, 12, whatever, that I could do that. And you can also double down and civilly. Now the civil part, they do have some limitations on like being compensated for that pain and suffering, but to be charged, there's no statute of limitation in most. I don't know about all, so you have to tell me where they were exactly and it's happening and pull up the statute of limitations there.
Of Florida.
Okay, so then Florida has no statute of limitations on sex crimes.
Okay, because
It's still most though,
yeah.
As of today, it's
And we
still
can
most,
double check
most
that, y'all,
have a
because
statute.
I think we
Yeah,
just
most.
did Florida. I don't know what panel we were on, but I think we checked. Yeah, Florida doesn't have a statute of limitations. So yeah, she can wake up and say in
34
1996, I
Beachy,
was
34 of the 50 states have a statute of limitations on the R word. 34 of the 50. 34 of the 50. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And she said she believed that she was in Epstein's Florida mansion. So that's what she did say believe. So I guess that will have that gray area that everybody want to try to use and give these people excuses for being involved in these things, like the go to say, like, hey, you involved in these goddamn things, your ass need to be up out of here somehow, some way, to the furthest extent of the law that we can prove, in my opinion.
The federal statute is 18 U.S.C. 2242.
I'm just saying, not even criminal. What about a cancellation? Like, how about we start canceling people? You know, the way people have canceled Trump, rightfully so. Why aren't the rest of these people that's on? Oh, you on the list? Oh yeah, you out of there. Oh, we saw them files today.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying we saw them files today, but ain't nobody going to blow up these people's Twitter. Ain't nobody trying to get these people off the net. Ain't nobody trying to embarrass them. It keeps going back to the same conversation. Trump, which again, rightfully so, he's involved. But what about these other 900 names we just got? What we doing with them?
So I think people want to start from the top down, especially where somebody he's in the highest position. He's the biggest name to go after, because once it showed that we could cancel him, the other people is going to follow as well. But Jay-Z did lose about 3 million followers on his social media. Beyonce lost about 20 million followers on her situation. She was at 320 mil, and now she's at 300 mil supposedly. So people are starting to respond. Also, seemingly, I don't know if any of these things are true, right? We have to fact check all these things. The NFL, they dissing themselves from Jay-Z. Beyonce knows mom's dissing herself from Jay-Z, and people are starting to move in the situation of what you are saying, Goat. And as more names come out, I do find it highly interesting that Jay-Z name was at the top of the list out of all 3 million files. That is wild to me.
Right. But again, you know what I'm saying? For me, it's just, you're there, your name in it. We talking about this as if these people need to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? It should be all of them. If we can't pick and choose who we calling out. So, because I didn't know they lost followers and whatnot, but that's a good sign. Although, 20 out of 300 million, we got a long way to go.
We got a long way. Yeah, we got. It's a trending sign to see, and it also shows how many of these people, even before they was famous, how they was at these goddamn events and how they was doing whatever they had to do to clout chase. This clout chasing ish, even though it seemed like it's important now. People been clout chasing for a very long time, and they was able to give excuses to people doing some nefarious things for a very long time, and it's getting out in the public. So shout out to that, and hopefully people can start holding the proper people accountable. We also have KT to go to here. So again, KT, what's your thoughts? I know Beachy has something to say as well, so I want to get back to Beachy and her thought as well. Go ahead, KT, to go. I mean, the fake goat.
The hate is real, but nah. Listen, man. First of all, like you said, the suspect part is Jay-Z and all them supposed to be at the top. When they listen, Jay-Z and Michael Jackson, black folk. It's a list of a bunch of white people, and now we got something like oh, this woman called in and said in '96 she reported in 2000 something. Then '96 Jay-Z not no fucking body in '96. Jay-Z's no fucking body. I don't, man, like, bro, if we really want to, like, it is what it is. I guess we could take that at face value, but I really don't. The second
He
thing
is somebody,
is
though.
He was at 1996, and so like
fuck nah. Who the fuck
the
was
problem
Jay-Z?
is, so,
When was
like, if he
Jay-Z
was
first
at,
album?
the problem is that if he was at the
96.
parties, if he was at the
Thank you.
parties, he was somebody, and that's how they determine who was the next celebrities, about what they are willing to do and who was at these parties. And this is how they got people to do certain things, because they got pictures of you at this party in and around some nefarious things, whether you participate or not. If you got caught in a picture of somebody doing something crazy, you in the same room, hey, you gonna have you want these pictures and videos out? No, I do not. All right, so you better get along to play along. And so we cannot act as if these people being at these parties when before they were celebrities doesn't mean anything.
Nah, we can call Cap when Cap is available, right? So like I just said, Jay-Z first album was Reasonable Doubt, '96, right? Did Jay-Z become some Insta star? Fuck no. Like, was he up there? I mean, he already was. He had songs with Biggie and shit, so it's like niggas knew who he was, but he didn't blow up and become some mega star. So it's even wild to try. Bro, I don't think Jay-Z was in no position to be around Jeffrey, because Jeffrey Epstein was already up there. That it just doesn't seem to, even in the line of how things was moving at that point in time. Jeffrey Epstein in the same room as Jay-Z for real, and they really out here doing shit together.
Okay, so all right, so what about the fact that we got Jamie Foxx saying how he used to sneak into all these parties and be around Denzel's, this person, that person, that person. He was a nobody. Nobody even knew his name, and he got himself up in those parties, and now he became famous. Why are we trying to ignore that people don't start at a certain place? But it started with these goddamn parties. You got into those parties, you was on your way into a good trajectory as being famous, is what we need to be paying attention to.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that ain't a possibility. I'm just pointing out that, again, it's wild to sit here and say Jay-Z in '96 would be the prime. These are the people we're going to put out. Every time they release some Epstein File pieces, they release 2 pictures of black people. or they talk about 2 black people like it's these are the people y'all need to be looking at. It's a list full of white people and politicians. Fuck, and that, like you just said, I'm with Taz too. Get everybody, but I'm just saying, I'm not gonna. We shouldn't act like, yeah, man. We really do need to be, man. Trump. That's why people talking about Trump more than. Oh shit. Hold up. Hold on.
Yeah, I just disagree that, and I don't like the fact that this is where I go to some people are willing to give certain people excuses to say, hey, he wasn't popular then, so therefore he didn't do it. No, his ass was there. Absolutely, he was there, and he was doing whatever he can to get into the position that he is in today.
Yeah, he in the files, families. I mean, let's just deal with it the way we would Trump and whoever Trump's friends are. That's because, like I said, I just feel like at some point it'll be less relevant if you start taking people out because of how you feel about them personally. If we're doing the files, let's just do the files. Whoever in them, whatever investigation is in them, it needs to be reopened. You need to get back into all of that. And I think my issue with it is that's what I don't see. I don't hear them saying, okay, we need to reopen up all these investigations. All this needs to be looked at again. They just releasing documents. That doesn't mean much.
Damn.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Beachy.
No, I think it's look over here. What we gonna act like we care about? We really don't care. I saw somebody put in the chat. Yeah, the sex trafficking that they don't have statute of limitations. So you got sex trafficking. That's forever. You get caught, or civilly and criminally. And I think on yours, Tad, it looked like almost 40, up to 40 states now. Something changed on the stats for 2025. It said 40 states out of the. You had 34, but I think it might have went up to 40 now. But either way, 34, 40. Look, it's going up. It used to only be a couple that had no statute of limitations. Are y'all more focused on the party, the twerking, the sexy red them, the Molly, or actually care about the crimes of violating someone's body and trafficking human beings? Because y'all do know this goes on all the time, even in our own communities. Like down the street, a couple blocks, it's an underage girl coming in and out of house with some grown men, and she ain't got no business doing that. And I think it's false outrage, because when you pull up the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, nobody cares about them. They are the least funded program. They don't even have enough money to operate. They don't have enough money to do anything. They're just like, no one puts no money into that program, and it's been like that for forever. So the very people that be out here that are like hollering, do something. Well, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and Human Trafficking been open for years now. And if you go over there and find out they desperately need help, they've been asking for help, begging for help, need volunteers, nobody wants to touch it because it's so taboo. And I'll give some money to Peter, or I help go feed down here at the dang Jimmy Hale mission, or donate some clothes to the Salvation Army that they don't need no more clothes. But nobody wants to go down there and get involved with this sex trafficking. So you can sign up and be a part of it. So I just think it's false outrage. I think all these papers, it's just fluff. Like as into somebody really make some arrest. I mean, what are we doing?
And that's the ghost argument as well. Welcome to the show, G Money. Good day. How you doing?
What's up, Sharon? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What's up, good brother?
I'm all right. It's your first time on the show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dave, what's your thoughts? G Money, what's your thoughts?
This whole Jay-Z thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got it wrong. The man was popping in 96. Think about that, 1996. You had to go physically down to the record store and buy the album.
Right.
There was no YouTube. There was no streams. You had to go to the store and buy it. In the year 1996 alone, he went gold. And he wasn't up.
Yeah, great point.
He sold 500,000 copies. Reasonable Doubt. I know I was bumping it in the West Coast. I know I was playing it in the car, in the house.
It's a great point. He was very well known.
He was very well known across the nation. But you got to think about it. It's 96.
On Pac album. I'm just saying right quick, bro. He's so well known, he got a mention on Pac album. That's how well known he is.
Right.
Right.
Let me just
Tupac
read this.
Tupac, he had beef with who?
Right. I ran the man down.
He had beef. He said Jigga, Prodigy, Nas, Biggie.
All of them. I ran them independent with $2. Pac would never be in those files. R.I.P. the GOAT.
Well, he died in 96. I don't know.
Right.
Because he was kicking with the man Quincy Jones. So
you have a lot of questionable things with and I love Tupac, but he has some questionable situations.
I just jumped on here because I'm listening. I'm like, man, what are you guys talking about? The Jigga?
Nah, bro.
Come on, man. He told you to solve out that
Epstein, bro. We talking about be with Epstein, bro. My bad. That's my fault, y'all.
I understand about the Epstein.
But listen, in terms of we talking about for you to be on and rap, and I ain't saying he's nobody. I'm saying for Epstein level nigga in 96, Epstein was already in the billions, cause the companies he done ran was $1 billion companies. That's a whole different plethora of motherfuckers to be chilling around. Like even like what you said, Pop may be suspect because he was with Quincy. You get what I'm saying? Like niggas even popping niggas at that time was still around, mostly popping niggas, the black dudes on that part of the industry, but not the white men themselves. That's all I'm pointing out. He wasn't that popping, nigga.
All right, so what you saying? You don't
but
believe?
Right quick. Let me kill it right quick. Let me kill it right quick. Don't you know it's a picture? Don't you know it's a picture of Jay-Z around that time with Bill Clinton?
Right.
Come on.
But you do know that, right?
Tell them again. I don't think they heard you.
So if you can get close to Bill, Jeffrey Epstein might be at the same goddamn party. Come on, fam.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. You know how many people got
Thank you for being real, brother.
Hold on. You know how many people got pictures of Trump right now?
Mm-hmm.
People got pictures. There's a bunch of people got pictures of President. They ain't. Come on,
Okay,
bro.
So now correlated. How many people got pictures with Trump and also have a girl saying that I woke up with Harvey Weinstein with 2 fingers inside me and this person that was in the picture next to him?
Shit, Jeffrey Epstein.
But Sharon, these are all speculations, brother.
It's not a regardless, but it is what this woman has. She picked out those 2 names specifically. Also, Jay-Z is also known for doing things with underage women, rumorly wise, right?
Now that's true.
So,
96, who he's with? Aaliyah. We all know that.
Foxy Brown, Aaliyah. Foxy Brown, Aaliyah, and Beyonce.
And Aaliyah, I don't know if you said Aaliyah, but and Aaliyah too.
Well, right? And those are just 3.
Remember the fight.
And those are just popular names. So imagine all the names that we don't know.
Somebody in the comments said, what was Pusha doing in 1996?
Pushing teens.
Nothing. And even further
I didn't even know nothing about no Pusha T back in 96.
That's what the T
that
stands
nigga
for.
was non-existent. This is what I'm saying.
No. And this is the problem that we having, right? Just because he was non-existent to you doesn't mean that he wasn't in and around all of the cool people or all the cool kids in the industry. Yeah. Again, a lot of people that is in the industry, like for example, what's the girl name that's with Diddy? She was just there. And then all of a sudden somebody recognized her, and then she got closer to Diddy, right? So again, there's a lot of people that would, if we was to look through those pictures, it's a lot of faces that we'll see in the background of unknown people that are just
talking about Cassie.
Hold on, let me just finish what I'm saying. Instead of pointing out and pulling out that one thing. If we look at those pictures, it's going to be a lot of people in the pictures that's in the background that are nobodies. And those nobodies were in the party. So the same way how Pusha Teens could have been in the party amongst the nobodies.
Sharon, can you please stop calling him?
I'm about to say, you doing this shit. That's
Sharon, keep it G, Sharon, man. Come on, man. Sharon, how old are you, Sharon?
It's not funny.
Sharon, how old are you?
Wasn't Pusha T pushing keys?
Yeah, let's
be real.
We know that. We understand he's a well-known and successful
this year.
Narcotics lord. Let him be the sin that he is. Don't be adding no extra bodies and activities on Terrence's name like that. I'm not gonna let you sit here and do that to him.
But that young lady did that.
She didn't say Terrence or Pusha T had fingers in her. She just said.
Nah, she said he's marinating in the building, which is nasty work. Like, and listen though.
Hold on. Pusha T's role was to actually getting the girls to these places. That was his role in it. He wasn't just pushing narcotics. He was pushing teens out to
oh, come on, Sharon. Sharon, how old are you, Sharon?
I'm 45.
This shit is propaganda if I ever heard
So Sharon, come on, be honest, bro. If you had cable back in the 90s, you was watching the box just like me. Did you ever see Pusha T on the box?
No, because he was still selling drugs before.
Come on, Sharon.
How did
that nigga was driving from VA to NY?
How did Pharrell give him such a big record? The very first record that we ever heard was signed. It wasn't like
Pharrell wasn't even thinking about Pusha T. He was thinking about Khalees, the ice cream yard.
Hold on. What I'm saying is this: when the
come on, Sharon,
they didn't come out with no just like, "Hey, we're gonna see them." They came out with grinding. You know what? I keep in it. Like it was a big record.
Boy, that shit was like 2004.
That came out like that came out late 90s.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
That came out like 99.
I understand when it
20
came
Police
out.
came out
Hold on,
like
I gotta let
97,
me finish
98.
building what I'm saying. So you are saying that they just came out of the blue in 2000, or they was around before?
No,
No,
but I'm
they've been
saying you
around
didn't
it.
see them until
They
then.
was what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, that they was around. Just because you didn't know them for 1996 doesn't mean they wasn't around in the in crowd. They was absolutely 100% around the people.
You
Shout
trying to
out to
sell the
Davey.
narrative.
Hold on.
So we had
Hold
the
on. I got you.
box,
Hold on. Let me
man.
just read this.
We had the box.
I got
If
you.
you
Shout
had
that was
cable,
only,
you had the box.
no,
The
but that was very
TV
limited to
network
some people.
video channel. Let's stop,
The box,
Sharon.
yeah, but the box doesn't have anything to do with the Epstein videos. We
It's
didn't know.
nationwide.
What I'm trying to get y'all to understand, we never knew about Epstein and his parties until now, because that was only for the in crowd. And so that's what we really actually talking about. We didn't know about Epstein until much later on in life, because we wasn't part of that in crowd or that degenerate crowd or that pushing teens crowd. Shout out to Davey Dix. Pusha Teens was mentioned in 2007 emails, not 1996.
Thank you.
I also need to make a point.
Thank
Just because your name is listed in a file does not mean you are restricted to 96.
Correct.
Those 3 million pages are all over the place. So please stop trying to say, oh, he didn't know nobody in 96. The nigga got big at some point, and guess what? When he got big, he was pushing
the
teens.
2000s.
He went from pushing keys to pushing teens. End of story.
But y'all are proving Sharon's point though, right?
Hey, come on,
People,
man.
y'all like
Man, the bias
now
is
it's
crazy in
propaganda.
this room.
Hold on, go ahead.
Hang on a second. Like you're proving Sharon's monologue to be true. Is he said that is whoever y'all like, y'all find a way to justify that it's not real or that it didn't happen, right?
No,
For Pusha T
no.
and this guy that's speaking now. Sorry, man, I don't know his name, but y'all are saying it's propaganda. It's not true. It's just it's a narrative. But then y'all want Trump to be held accountable, for the Epstein Files, and I agree. Trump and all these people that are mentioned need to go. All of them, from Trump to Jay-Z to fucking Pusha T, all of them. Like the military needs to come and just scoop them up and deport their ass.
We might as well throw the freakouts in there too.
Okay, hold on.
If you cancel, right? If you cancel with how many pages is it, Sharon?
Hold on. Let me make sure it's 3 million. Hold on. Let me make sure Kulu finishes thought, and G Money, you be the
Okay,
first.
go ahead. Do your thing.
Let him finish his full thought. Go ahead, Kulu.
Y'all can't want Trump to be held accountable and everybody else to be held accountable, but then y'all don't want y'all's person to be held accountable for what they did as well. You can't tell me that Jay-Z wasn't fucking around with young kids when he was fucking around with Rihanna and all those young people at 17, 16 years old. Those are minors. You know what I mean? And that's just what we know via pictures. There's no telling what type of parties, kickbacks that they went to where there was even younger girls. You know what I mean? And if Jay-Z has a problem, just like with the whole Tony Busby lawsuit, he'll put his lawyers out to defend himself, but he hasn't done that yet. But he sure did it with the Tony Busby shit, so that lets you know that there's something there. All of them got to go. All of them.
Okay, now watch this. Hey, I feel you on that. Fucking with a minor is out of pocket. But you got to see how America works, brother. And what you don't know. Now check this out. Sharon, you said you 4'5", right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you like Boys in the Hood?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it.
What about Class Act?
Yep.
What about that girl, that chocolate girl?
I don't remember.
The main girl.
I would just say yes, just to.
Okay, what about the one on Boys in the Hood? The one was crying with the baby.
Sure. I'm not got.
No, you don't know what I'm talking about?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so anybody who saw that movie, Class Act, the main girl, the chocolate girl, the one that was in Boys in the Hood, the one who had the baby as well, the chocolate one, she was 15 in real life.
Okay.
Class Act came right after Boys in the Hood. That was 92. That means she was 16. But look how all the other dudes, just like me and you, Sharon, because we the same age. So dudes that was watching, what you think they was doing? They was liking her just like me and you was liking her. I'm just saying, right?
But we was the same age as her, though. It don't give.
So we justified. But look how she's portrayed. Go look at Monica's First album.
But
Look how
we,
what she looked like and what she's doing. She
yeah,
was
but
13.
all right. So now you
So
say that to say,
what's your
okay,
point?
hold
So
on.
I'm just saying, you gotta
Hold on,
peep the
hold on,
game with
G-Money. Hold on,
how
G-Money.
the
So you
government
say
and
that to say,
how this
hold
stuff
on,
is operated.
G-Money. So you say that to say what about the grown folks that was there and around them trying to push themselves?
I'm saying because they don't know, because how they portrayed, how they look. Go back and look at
Who don't know?
Who don't know?
the people, the public, the
Right,
audience.
but this is not about the public or the audience of how we are portrayed in them. It's
I'm
about
just
the
I'm
powers
just
that
throwing
be
that out there
that put
though.
right. But the powers
Because
that hold
when
on,
I was
hold on,
watching a movie, I
hold
did
on. I
not
don't want
see
you.
16. I did not
That,
see 15.
that is fine, but what we cannot conflate the people that are there, the people, the powers that be that put her in front of the camera and took her to these parties. They knew her age. They have no excuse.
Nah, for
I'm
shit
just
though.
I'm just trying to say though, right?
And
And try
listen,
to sometimes to make sense of things because you
nah,
can easily get caught up.
No, you.
and
What?
again,
I'm from
going
a
back to
city
that
where you
making
have
sense
to
of
ask
things.
you have to ask little mama for some ID. Little mama, okay, let me see your ID. But guess
Bro, you're
what?
defending
So
pedophilia,
if you
bro.
No, I'm
doing
not
your due
defending, but
diligence, hold on,
what
hold
I'm
on, hold on,
saying,
hold on,
right?
hold
I'm
on.
just
One at a
pointing
time,
out
y'all. One at a time. Hold on. One at a time. Brownsville
this.
got some questions for you. It seems like G Money. Let Brownsville finish his full thought, and then you get a chance to respond, G Money.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. So my brother, I'm not understanding what you meaning when you saying it's
I'm
easy to get caught up, because if you as a man are doing your due diligence to make sure that the female that you're rocking with is legal, then how is it possible for you to get caught up?
I'm just saying, good brother. It's about misconception.
How can it be
Women,
misconception if
young
you if
women,
so
they can
who's
portray
responsible?
to
Let me ask
look
you this.
very, very much older than what they are.
Right. Let me ask you this. Whose responsibility is it to figure out if you are in a legal situation or an illegal situation?
Well, you have to figure out what's legal and what's not illegal.
Well, we know what's legal. We know minors, right?
Because
We know
if I just go off, static, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, little mama, you look old enough. Even though she might got tattoos, piercings, whatever.
Ain't no
so you
way.
But
saying that's how
sometimes
you
you gotta
operate?
ask.
You saying
But
hold on.
sometimes you gotta ask that for that ID. Sometimes, little
No, but
mama,
I'm
let me see your ID. But guess
sometimes.
what? They got fake IDs.
No.
So then what?
No.
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
you don't
This is
tell me no.
crazy.
Don't
No.
tell
So
me no. I got
Okay,
a
so
cousin who got a car on a
hold on.
Sunday with a fake ID.
Hold on. So just because
You can't tell me no.
hold on, this is the problem that we keep having, right?
it's not
Just
a
because
laughing matter either, cuzzo. This is serious, man.
you gotta
Like,
let me talk, please.
but you need
Just,
to clear it up.
yeah, you want to clear it up? Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying, I don't want to move the goalpost, right? So what the brother just articulated is that if aesthetically, if a minor looks like a grown woman, then there's a possibility of a grown man getting a pass for messing around with a minor because he fell for her aesthetics.
I didn't say pass. I said sometimes you even gotta ask for the ID.
I
But I said
disagree.
wait. But I said there's another flip side of the coin. What happens if she comes with a fake ID? Then what?
Then you do your due diligence,
How
right?
can you
So
do your due diligence
as a
when you
grown man,
thought because
right?
you thought the first initial ID was good enough?
But it ain't even about the ID, right?
Right.
So as a grown man, right? It's about your awareness, and your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of how to identify a child from an adult, right? It's
Correct.
called discernment, right? So it's dependent upon how your value system is set up, right? So if your value system is set up where you got lust and degeneracy at the top of your value system, then yes, you can easily fall victim to going with the aesthetics instead of doing your due diligence and being disciplined, right? But the problem that I have with y'all brothers is y'all come online and y'all making excuses for
Okay.
not having a recalibrated value system, right? Because
Right.
if you were moving as a man with discipline, with self-respect, with an ideology that you're going to protect women and children, then there's no way you're going to misidentify a child for a grown woman. That's
You,
just
Agree.
not possible.
you're very much correct. You're very much correct.
Okay,
So
so
my
then that's gonna cancel out as a female, and I haven't been a teenager for years, okay, decades. And I'm telling you, as a teenage girl, every man that approached me that I working, that's why I'm gonna let my daughter, she can't work. Sorry, you can't have a job because the men on the job, they knew darn well we could work at starting at 15, learn a worker's permit, and then 16, you can just have a regular job. Every one of those men that brushed up behind me on the job, walked a little close, poking on you. We teenage girls, we like, oh my God, the manager, we just all he kiki, not realizing he's breaking the law and preying on us. He knew we didn't need no ID. They knew dang on well we were high school girls. They knew what they were doing, and some more than others fell super prey to the advances. Some of us were scared and shy, but I know for a fact men, they don't need no aesthetics. We didn't even have weave and makeup back then. I mean, it was probably some weave, but we didn't have no makeup. Okay, we didn't have any all the extra stuff. They knew dang it wasn't no I was confused. They had a lust and a desire and a deviancy to mess with young girls because we were vulnerable. We didn't know what we were doing. I guess our inexperience was attractive, whatever. I don't know what it is predators look for in young women, but you don't need no ID to be able to tell that's a little girl, that's a young whatever. I don't care how much lashes, makeup, and hair she got on. You all can still see the young girl. So let's just take that out the equation.
Okay,
And to me,
so I got a
ID
question
or
to one who
aesthetics.
said the due diligence. So what would you do? How would you go by doing your due diligence to the brother?
Well,
Wait,
what
what
I
am I
do,
doing due diligence for?
No, I just
well,
want
he
to know
talking to me,
the
Queen.
brother
He
that
talking to me.
the brother said about do your due diligence. I want to know how he would go by doing that. If you take aesthetics and ID out the picture,
Right. So
what's your next move?
the first thing you have to do is make sure you have a recalibrated value system, right? So you're dating with intention, right? You're not just dating to have sex. That's number one. Because when you're dating for lust, then you're going to prioritize that above anything else, right? And if you are not disciplined and you are putting your discernment on the back burner, right? Then you're going to convince yourself that you was tricked, but actually you wasn't tricked. You was just moving in your degenerate mindset, right? Which is to convince yourself that that young girl did something nefarious that tricks you into that situation. But no, you tricked yourself, right? Because of your lack of discipline, your lack of knowledge, your lack of responsibility, your lack of integrity, right? And we need to make it clear, right? Because it really disgusts me
Right.
when men are expressing that type of an ideology, because it shows what young girls are going through day in, day out, when they're walking to the grocery stores, when they're walking to school, and there's grown men preying on them because they're being led by lust and degeneracy, right? So no, you don't need to have no ID. You don't need to go by aesthetics. You know a young girl just based upon how she's moving, how she talks, how she walks, how she communicates, etc., right? And you as a man, you're willing to compromise your integrity to fulfill your lust, and that is how you end up in these compromised situations. And
G Money,
if
would
you
you
have
like
that
to
type of mindset, then you
G
need to be ashamed of yourself and you need to recalibrate, my brother.
Money, would you like to
But
respond?
see, hey, Sharon,
Just
right?
slap the
And but
taste
see,
out of your mouth. I'd like to see you try.
Damn. They said, hold on. It said, no worries. Get rid of that new sicko. He is creepy. G Money is his name. So it's $20. Anybody that want to bring G Money back, or G Money is $20 to bring yourself back. G Money. Also, welcome into the show, the beautiful conversations with MJ.
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's up? Hi, Beachy. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on. I agree with Brownsville. It's just an excuse and a cop out. There's a difference between looking youthful and going after youth, right? Those are two different things. If you put a young man in a suit and a grown man in a suit, you telling me you can't tell the difference between who's the young man and who's the older man? You could. The men are going after young, right? Not youthful. You could have a woman that's your age and she still looks youthful. That's the big difference, and they just don't want to admit that. That's why they come up with excuses why they're hollering at 15, 16, or 17-year-old girls talking about she got a body like a woman. Since when? You could see her up here with barrettes in her hair and little afro puffs, because I'm from the time where you had afro puffs and the pineapple cut and shit like that, and you could tell the difference between who was an older woman and who was a young girl, you know. But they didn't care because they wanted something young and something fresh, something that they talk about all the time in these spaces. So I'll just drop it right there.
And we got to stop allowing the excuses to be moved around as just because one or two people was able to trick somebody as if that is what is happening. Majority of people are not being tricked. They know exactly what that is. Majority of people act as we know when we see somebody acting grown. We say it all the time. Little girls, stop acting grown. Like it's a whole saying behind it, right? All little boys stop acting grown. Men and women know exactly who that underage person that's trying to do whatever, even if that younger person is trying to holler, because we hear it all the time with younger men as well. They try to holler at older women. It's still up to that grown adult woman to say no. It is up to that grown adult man to say no. Like, I don't understand why we act as if we don't see the difference between how grown people move, act, talk, and dress versus a child attempting to be older. We can clearly see the difference. It's not even close, to be honest. You can see the difference in their skin, even young-looking older people. And no matter how young I look, I cut off my beard and everything, ain't nobody gonna think that I'm goddamn 16. Even the youngest looking old person, nobody's gonna look at that young, older looking person and say, "Oh, you look like you 16." I don't care how young she look. If she grown, you know she grown. No matter how young she look. It's kind of weird sometimes. We got to start giving people excuses for this shit. I don't care if it's Pusha Teens, Jay-Z. I don't care who it is, whether they black, white, yellow, indifferent, a T person. I don't care who they are. If they are in those goddamn files, we need to be taking some closer look, and we need to figure out what are we going to be demanding from our U.S. government for these people that are in these goddamn files now. Like, so now that we got the files out, what is our next step now? After we read all of it. Go ahead.
I want to say two things real quick. First of all, I don't think we should put that in the hands of the government. I mean, we see what the government's going to do, which is nothing. They released the files, meaning they had the files prior, and they know who was on the list before they was going to put it out, and yet they've arrested nobody about it. So, yeah, nothing's going to happen. If anything, I guess it was what Taz was saying, we'll have to do, like, social cancellations or something. Outside of that, we should also be accurate. And this is all I'm going to say about the girl here. She talking about Pusha T was the handle. Listen, so she basically saying she didn't know of the Epstein gang type shit for like 10 plus years, didn't say anything. Like, and I'm not saying that people have to say something immediately. Please don't no one misconstrue me for that. But like a lot of this shit don't be this shit. In my opinion, again, I think it's really weird that you would put out black entertainers as the cover for the Epstein Files when it's a bunch of white politicians in majority. And these are people that Jeffrey Epstein himself are talking about. These aren't just like, oh, a victim said this is what happened. It's actual ties to Jeffrey Epstein himself, not a victim. We should stick to that. I think that because, like, no offense, I could accuse any of you guys up here of any crime in this universe. That does not mean it's true. Okay, I'm sorry, but we can look at who's connected to Epstein himself. That should be the proof.
KT, do you know what Epstein actually did? Like professional. Sorry, bro. KT, do you know what Epstein did professionally?
Like his job?
Yes.
Yeah, he ran like a firm, investment firm, and it was something about the stock market one time. Yeah.
One of those comments you made earlier was the fact that Jay-Z couldn't have been in the same room with Epstein for X, Y, and Z. When Jay-Z was growing his business as a whole at that time, especially over the 20 years that followed. Mm-hmm. You have to understand, just because we don't know somebody's in that world doesn't mean that they're not. This list is huge. Somebody, I think Brownfield mentioned earlier how Trump had been on the plane 8 times. My first comment was, what was he on the plane for? Was he on the plane to head to said island, or was he on the plane engaging in illicit conduct? If either of those two are true, he needs to be locked up. End of story. But that's where my comment to Brownsville went earlier. If you're on the list, that's not indicative of you committing a crime. But if you were specifically listed to have committed a crime, you need to be arrested today.
But we know what Epstein was doing, right? He was trafficking young girls to engage in sexual acts with grown men, right? So a lot of these brothers are going to be guilty by association, and they should be guilty by association, because what I don't like is when I hear men come online and say things like, well, we need finite proof, or we can't believe everything a woman says, right? Or, well, they aren't prosecuting or arresting these people, so it must not be true. You don't understand that sexual crimes, right, are the least likely crimes to where you can get a conviction, right? There's less than 4% convictions when it comes to sexual crimes. The reason why is lack of credible evidence, lack of people willing to come forward, right? Victim blaming, right? The victim itself being embarrassed, etc., right? So there's a long line of reasons as to why it's very difficult to prosecute a sexual case. You need an overwhelming amount of evidence to get a conviction, because a lot of men are thinking like KT the GOAT, right? And a lot of men are thinking like the other brother who got kicked off, right? To where it's kind of like the nefarious way of looking at children or looking at women, whereas, you know, they have to convince you that something happened to them before you can take it seriously. And that's my issue, right? And for me, if anybody's connected with the Epstein Files, then they need to be looked at with a side eye. They really need to be examined as a predator. Whether we find the smoking gun or not, because you're guilty by association. If you've been hanging around with this guy and that's what he was known for, then what were you doing with him? It wasn't anything good, because he wasn't about doing anything good. And a lot of y'all brothers got daughters. A lot of y'all brothers got nieces. A lot of y'all brothers got little sisters, right? And what I need y'all to start doing is thinking about them, before you reacting or responding to anything related to the Epstein Files. Because just like the Queen Bee, she said, there's little girls that go missing every single day and nobody's doing anything about it, right? And I would hate for that to be somebody that you know and love, that something ends up happening to. And then somebody online is coming up and saying, well, we gotta find the proof and we can't really believe it just because they said it. That's kind of really, really just a harsh way of taking the considerations of girls and women in the proper context. Peace and love.
Brownsville,
Said
sorry.
that you. Nah, let me say this real quick. No, let me say this real quick.
He just
first of
addressed
all,
me,
you
so I
took
need
that
to attack
improper.
twice.
No,
He also addressed KT as well.
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
let me
my
just
bad.
point this out. Like you came in the incorrect context. That's the first thing. I've never said this is okay or don't believe. I'm saying, and second of all, if somebody who's ever identified as an officer, for one of your first comments to be, well, why I gotta be finite proof? It's scary as fuck and shows why people don't trust police, because that's how the justice system is supposed to work. Like, yeah, guilty by association is a thing, but that isn't something the way the justice system is supposed to work. And if you're talking about the proof has so hard to will convict these people, I think 3 million pages would be enough evidence, right? That you should be able to convict people. It shouldn't even have to be us talking about what we need to do to take care of the thing. Those people are, but they've shown they're not doing that. So that's all I got to point out, bro. Go ahead, Shadow.
Yeah, and it's really, it's a lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of how the justice system works on your behalf, right? Because maybe you missed it. When it comes to sexual crimes, that's one of the most difficult crimes to prosecute for a litany of different reasons, right? Which is why a lot of women, probably in this chat room, right, have been victims of sexual crimes, and there's never been any type of conviction associated with it, right? And what I'm saying is, you're being very insensitive to them because you don't understand the history. You don't understand the dichotomy of why these things go unpunished. And when we get this information from the Epstein Files, right, and we understand what Epstein was doing, then things shouldn't have to be spelled out to you before you say, hey, maybe we should look at this person with a side eye, right? Which is all I'm saying, right? If somebody was to come up right now and say, you know what? Once one of your panelists assaulted my daughter, right? If I don't know you, I'm looking at you with a side eye, because now it's up to you to prove what they're saying is lying, right? Because I wouldn't want a person like you around my daughter. And this is how men need to be responding to these types of allegations. Yes, in a court of law, you're guilty, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? And in a court of law criminally, you have to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. All that is facts, right? But there's a lot of people who have committed sexual crimes and who have gone unpunished. And just because they've gone unpunished, that does not mean that they should not be held accountable or responsible or looked at in disgust.
I'm sorry. That sounds crazy.
And before we move forward, also the Fiesta video was shot on it was on Epstein Island. So
I was on Epstein Island.
Yeah, so the Fiesta video, and we know what R. Kelly is. We know that for a fact what R. Kelly is. We know that Epstein and Jay-Z had ties since 1996. And also now we know that the video was also shot on Epstein Island. So if you need, and I guess you're saying that we need further evidence past that to say, hey, we need to look at these people with a side eye.
And can we give a
Pause.
shout out? Can we
Sorry.
give a shout out, guys, to someone actually saying on the chat? No one will probably come forward and say it, but there's 1 in 5 of us grown women in this room who have been sexually assaulted, and then it's like 1 in 3 for underage. You can get those on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So out of this chat, I don't know how many women in here, but 1 in 5 of us have been sexually assaulted. Okay. And if there's no children here, of course, because this is an 18 and older platform. But if there were to be 1 in 3, that's pretty high, y'all. So I don't know how many women up in this room, but I mean, you can do the math. It's a couple of us.
And I gotta point out,
said
like,
this
the
before I leave. Give 1 second, because I gotta go. I got a meeting to go to. So I understand what Brownsville's saying. Brownsville, right? Anybody that's associated with this person, we should look at it as a side eye. We should question it, because we should question it. But when we start talking about prosecuting them just because they was associated with him in some type of way, I don't agree with that. Now, can we prosecute everybody who was on the island? Absolutely. And we got proof that you went to the island, but these pages talks about all of his associates. These are people that you might have been in the same room with him in a meeting room in New York. Like, we don't say that we're going to prosecute him from guilty of association, right? I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, we got proof, like I said, because they got flights, they got all this stuff. They got proof that you went to that location. I think those are the side eye. Those are the people that we got to hold accountable. I think they still should have their day in court. We shouldn't just process, because this got real complex, I think, when he self-deleted himself, because he's the key to a lot of these cases, right? Like, you need kind of that testimony of somebody's there, right? So that's all I'm saying is him being a businessman, just because in this file, I like I said, I haven't read all the file, but I'm curious to know. It is going to be people in this file that just say, hey, we should look him at a side eye because he might have lended them money from an investor point of view, or there's a lot of stuff that his company was involved in from on the legal side, even though this guy was heinous.
And I also just want to point out real quick, I agree with you for the most part, Eddie, man, for real. I can't believe that shit. But I'm not trying to make this an argument about, like, I know it's problems with females in terms of men doing things they shouldn't do. I'm sticking to what we were talking about here, which is the Epstein file itself, which is why I said I'm agreeing with E. It's actual proof, evidence of who his associates are, of people who have actually been to the island and made purchases, quote unquote. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to make Jay-Z, because again, I'm gonna say this, like, I feel it very odd that out of all of the powerful politicians that are already proven to be on this list, the people you're highlighting both times when you make the putouts are people who are around him, but they're not actually on logs of Jeffries. Like, these are people saying, like, oh, this is a picture of Michael Jackson with Jeff. They're the Met Gala. Like, the Met Gala, bro. Like, I'm just being real. Like,
Jay-Z's on a
So
side
let
log.
me ask you a question, KT. Have you ever interacted with or communicated with an adult victim of SA?
Yeah.
How many?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Two.
Have you ever interacted or been around a child victim of SA?
Yeah.
How many?
1.
Right. So if you've been around a whole bunch of these women and children, I would want to believe you would feel differently about this, right?
Well, I'm the child.
I think it's because your lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of how these crimes happen.
I was the child. I had a woman sexually assault me at a really early age. No, I that's what I'm saying. You're being facetious, and I'm okay with that. But you have to stop just asserting that's what you think, or and presenting that as fact. It's not true. I have more than understanding. Trust me, like I really do. I'm not sitting there saying let's look at all victims and say they mean nothing. I'm just talking about this Epstein case, man. And they got 3 million files on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? 3 million pages of evidence on it. I'm saying let's go through that and get who we need from off that list, because he's naming the people he's worked with. He's naming his collaborators. I don't want to talk about the people that they presenting in front of us that he isn't talking about himself. That just seems, as y'all was saying, chasing who we want, who they're literally presenting for us to chase. Like, yeah, talk about them. Let's not, like y'all been saying too, Clinton's on this list. Both Clintons are on this list. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of politicians.
Yeah, arrest them.
Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
like arrest them.
That's what I'm saying. And
But it seems like when it's Jay-Z, like you want to like find finite proof when it's Jay-Z, but when it's Clinton or Trump, it's like, oh, just arrest them.
We have the finite proof. We have Jeffrey Epstein putting them on logs, talking about how they've been there with him. We don't have that for Jay-Z. We don't have that for Chris Tucker and Michael Jackson. The black people they keep putting out. Like I'm saying, what they're using.
He did a music video on his island.
This isn't Jeffrey. Listen, that's
and there's
like
photos with Jay-Z with minors.
In terms of investment in things, and I'm not saying Jay-Z didn't do anything. I'm saying this is what we need to be worrying about second, instead of really highlighting, because we can highlight the people who we need to really be saying, all right, the full evidence is there, and it's a big ass list of them.
Okay, so you saying hold on. So the people that the reason why we talking about Jay, because they're the first names that people paid attention to the most at this very current moment. Should we not?
No,
should we not?
They're making us pay attention.
Who's?
Because was anyone talking about Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker before the first files dropped? No. And again, they haven't presented the evidence of Jeffrey having them in the logs, talking about Mike flying out.
Hold on. So what they say about Chris Tucker? What was he mentioned in the files?
Nothing for real. I didn't see from what I've seen, because I'm still going through the first.
So you're going to speculate. So you have no idea if Chris Tucker
was
actually mentioned in the files. You saying that because you're talking about pictures. You talking about pictures, or you talking about people that's named in the file? Those are two different things.
No, I'm talking about because Jay-Z, all these people are named in the files. That's what I'm saying though. But it's actual people. Jeffrey Epstein himself, you know, because these are Epstein files. They're about Jeffrey Epstein's log originally. Give me one second.
Okay, so now again, so when we are talking about Jay-Z, is he not mentioned in the files? Right, he's mentioned in the files, correct?
He said, "Give me 1 second." All right, I think you have to step away.
All right, so he's mentioned in the file. So now, who is mentioned in the file that we are not talking about? Is the question, because I'm confused about. You want me to mention all 900 people that was involved in one stream?
I apologize. I had a phone call. No, what I was saying is people that Jeffrey Epstein, that like how we're talking about the evidence needs to be built or evidence being there or not. There's clear evidence of people who are directly, like he's named them. They're in the ledger.
Okay, so who do you want to talk about? Since you don't want us to talk about the entertainers that represent Black culture.
I'm saying let's go after the people who got the facts.
Who?
Like,
so don't just
like I said, Trump. I know y'all gonna go against that. I mean, again, I'm with what you said earlier too, in terms of why people are talking about Trump with it. He's the most. I mean, this man runs our country. Like, Jay-Z don't run my country. He don't even run Black culture. That's what I'm saying. Like, has he contributed to it some way? Yeah, fuck yeah, whatever. But again, we talking about terms of. I've said this already too. I know we can't get everyone at once. We have to get the important people. Like I said, let's stop. I'm not going to celebrate getting the nickel bag, man. I'd rather get the plug. I clap when we actually get the fucking plug. Let's go get the plug.
All right, so how do you get the plug? Don't you usually climb up the line? You get the low level, then he snitch on the one that's above.
We already have the Epstein Files is the low level. we have that. That's what I'm saying.
Thought we got the plug when we got Epstein.
Right,
that's the plug's already gone.
Right, that's the plug. Yeah. Right, Epstein was the plug, and now we are sorting through all
they got the plug's evidence, and that's all I'm saying. The plug's evidence has ledger.
Okay, so now, all right, so now that we got the plug, which was Epstein, he was the plug. So now it's trickling down to all the people that was buying and doing whatever else. Jay-Z is seemingly one of them.
That's what I'm saying. That part to me, that's not the Epstein files. The Epstein files were going off of Epstein's ledgers and records of things he was doing. This side piece where they're saying, "Oh,
on the flight logs."
Oh shit.
Okay, so you don't believe that Jay-Z is a part of the Epstein files, is what you're saying. I'm trying to have an understanding of what you're saying. Because it seems like y'all just want nothing to happen. That's what it always seems like. Every time we're trying to have a conversation on what the information that came out at the moment, it's not like we could read 3 million pages in one day. It's going to take months before we get a real understanding of how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Even if it's
and
just
like I
going
even
off.
mentioned to, I already mentioned two attorney generals in this situation. I mentioned their names already. So I don't understand that if you're going to give us some names that you want to have a conversation about and show us the evidence that you have on them or what is mentioned about them in those files, I have no problem with that at all. But just to go ahead and say a blanket statement, you or not mention these other people and you don't know them, they name yourself is disingenuous at best.
I didn't say nobody didn't mention anybody else. I said like we're actually acting like Jay-Z is what again. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone, the Epstein files from the beginning, they were talking about this is Epstein's ledgers and Epstein's logs and things of nature, proving that these were people that he had coming to the island specifically to make purchases. Okay.
No, that's not what. They've never said that. They said the Epstein files were specifically of anyone who has ever done business between the time that Jeffrey Epstein was conducting child ST, literally between point A and point B until the moment of his arrest. So this has any business transactions or business interactions or business communications he's ever done with anybody that has to be in the timeline he is committing his crime. His offensive conviction.
You kind of faded out at the end. Could you say it again?
It's a log of anyone who did business with him during the term of his offensive conviction. So the time that his offense was being conducted to the time that he died.
Okay. And then they say he had specific logs stating like this guy was going to the island for like pizza and shit, right?
That's not specified.
It wasn't just the island, bro.
No, I'm just pointing out. Like,
I think the problem that you have in KT is that you not informed, and so you're questioning us like we are not informed like you.
I'm not. How are you saying I question you like you're not informed? What the fuck? The fact that you even came out and said that from the beginning is crazy.
It's not just about Pizzagate, right? It's not.
No, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying that there's evidence of it on there, right?
So it's not just, hold on.
So we can't arrest people because you had business with
this is the thing that you are missing. Hold on, you are missing a lot of things. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or you're just not informed. It was more than just what you are trying to make it out to be. He's on the books for most, like the young lady. Stop. Jeez. The young lady that we are talking about. This happened in America or in Florida, possibly at Epstein's mansion. So a lot of the parties happened here. They didn't go to his island and didn't have nothing to do with them ordering pizza. Some of the stuff just happened at his party as well. So it's a plethora of things that this man was involved in that dealing with trafficking human beings.
Yes, and you're really skipping the point that I pointed out that I'm trying to make here. I only brought that up as a reference because I'm pointing out they admitted there are trackings of his wrongdoings in these files.
Yep.
That's evidence. So I'm saying everything else, if we know this is
so
business,
who are those people? Who are those people? Who are those people?
A bunch of people. I can't name everybody.
Name them.
I cannot list everybody.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You believe that your ignorance is our ignorance.
Nigga, can you name everybody off the list?
Right, because I'm going as they come out.
No, you can't. What the fuck? You can. No. With the evidence, there's plenty of people on the list. You cannot name all of them.
I already admit that I did not read 3 million pages.
We've all agreed to this.
He has a library.
I'm still reading the first half.
So him having a library of names, he got over 900 names. So out of those names, we are going with the ones that we have already that is proven to be researched and it is in the media as well.
You
That's
know,
what we're
again,
having a conversation about. Those people. Those people are in the files right now, and they are currently the hot topic because social media is responding because Jay-Z lost 2 million followers and Beyonce lost 20 million followers.
yeah, no, that's all good.
NFL dropped following him. Beyonce moms dropped following. There's a lot of things happening with strong, prominent people in this world. And so they are losing favor. That's why we are talking about the ones at hand right now, because they are the most popular at the time. And then as 2 weeks later, as more names come out, and it's those names are going to come out, and then we're going to have a conversation about those names as well.
But Pusha T is even worse than that because he's actually implicated in a DOJ file.
Right. And so that's what we're talking about. So if you want to now, I don't know if you're just trying to muddy the water or you want to actually talk about different names, then you're going to have to pinpoint the names and the evidence why we should be talking about those names as well. And we're going to, if the evidence is there, they in the files, we could talk about those as well. Nobody's trying not to speak about Clinton. I mentioned Clinton. I mentioned that both parties is going to try to act as if their side of the coin is not involved in it. The Republicans want to talk about Bill Clinton, but don't want to talk about whoever's on their side. I mentioned
Donald Trump.
Sharon.
Yes.
What about? I heard Patti LaBelle was on that list.
Oh well, if she on there, her ass got to go too.
Yeah, man. It just seems like people.
So no more Patti LaBelle pies, huh?
Absolutely.
Is that what you say?
Nah,
Yeah.
but real
It just seems like people are defending. If it's their person, now they want concrete evidence. But if it's if it's a person that they don't like, oh man, just go ahead and arrest them. It's like just get everybody out of there. And I don't see why KT like you're fighting it so bad. Jay-Z was in pictures with 17-year-olds. Like you don't think that he was in the studio late night with them? Like you don't think that he tried to do something with them? Like come on,
get that nigga for that.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? But listen to what y'all saying. Y'all really saying, oh, people trying to stick to their favorites. You're saying that you because you seen him do some other shit you wanted to go down for this, and that's more than understandable. But again, like I said from the beginning, how the justice system should work. Like that's just being honest. You don't want nobody sitting here just throwing something on you and then.
Hold up, guys. Somebody spell Patti LaBelle because we're not finna just be throwing anybody's name out here like we ain't got the full Epstein search library and we check and with Sharon. We got to pull it up. So
hey, fact check it. There we go.
How do you spell Patti LaBelle? Because she's not coming up how I put it in. I might have spelled it wrong.
P-A-T-T-I.
No, so but that proves the point that we cannot just be throwing names out there just to have to save face of the people.
LaBelle is what? L-A-B-E.
She ain't on there. It's okay, BG. She ain't on there. He just threw out her name just to.
Wow, that's what you can't be doing. That's reckless, man. Now,
Sharon, I formed that as a question.
Right, but that's
Sharon, I formed that as a question. Right, that wasn't concrete.
We understand you formed that as a question, but that's the problem. People are just throwing names in there for no reason, right? When we have people that actually, you search their name pop up, and it gives them what they did. You type in Sean Carter, it shows why his name is brought up and what the implication of it.
He ain't gonna make a joke about her past.
And then when you put in Beachy, when you type in Pusha Teens, what pops up?
Yes, Pusha T comes up, but you're not going to keep saying no Pusha T. Listen. Yeah, my guy came up. Okay, and I mean, it didn't really.
Hey, listen, I'm not even running.
Hey, I was watching another podcast, so don't kill me, man. Don't kill me.
And
look, who else name we got? Let's put in anybody. I think I ain't gonna tell you who I look for. I put in Kendrick Lamar. I want to make sure he was straight. And then this how you do. When the name come up, y'all, you have to see what it's attached to with their name. Because his name did come up, but it didn't come up to have anything to do with any devious behavior. It was somebody having a recorded conversation talking about they liked the Kendrick Lamar album and they wanted to go see him in concert. You see what I'm saying? So you got to put the name in, then click the file and see what the conversation about that name was. So every name mentioned did not do something devious in these files. They were just in a conversation had like, oh, I went to the Kendrick Lamar concert, or can you get those tickets? So don't just think there's because somebody said, "Oh, Kendrick name was in there," and then you go run with that, but you don't see that not for any devious behaviors because someone was discussing him and going to his concert.
Right.
And
But
this is what
Pusha
I'm
was
talking about.
listed as somebody he
Hold on,
kidnapped.
but that's the part that keep being pushed over, right? Like when we are talking about Sean Carter's name and what is attached to, we're talking about what he is attached to some disgusting things at the moment.
No,
right?
but this is what I'm saying.
Pusha T is linked to some disgusting things at the moment. Donald Trump, he is listed with some disgusting things at the moment. Bill Clinton, he's also somebody that got some disgusting things on his name at the moment. As we going through 3 million pages, we're talking about the ones that got not just on the list, but also that has some nefarious things attached to their name on the list. Because just like Beachy just said, like people typing in a bunch of names, but if it come up, you type in Kendrick and it say, "Hey, can you give me tickets to the Kendrick show?" Nobody cares about that detail.
Which is what I'm pointing out.
That is pushing people towards some nefarious acts.
Which is what I'm pointing out also,
like
because
the SBU unit.
I'm trying to say, Jay-Z.
Sharon, don't forget about Bill Gates. He on there too.
It's a difference between people who are named in the Epstein Files and people who are actually associated and had interactions like we're talking about proven.
Right. So the problem that we keep having with you, KT, you're just bringing up things that is possibilities instead of sticking to Elon Musk was brought up because X, Y, and Z. You just say it is
because he asked to go to the island.
So hold on. What I'm saying is that you are just saying you are giving people excuses when you say I'm explaining to you why. You're giving people excuses when you say, well, there's plenty of people that's named on there. We don't know what's going on. You do it then. So if you are not bringing up, if you are not,
that's what I'm saying. I know what's going on with Jay-Z.
You're not allowing me to finish.
I know what's going on with the Pusha T part.
What I'm saying. If you want to take the spotlight off of Jay-Z and Pusha T and all these other people, and you want to put a spotlight on somebody else, then you need to name that person you want to put the spotlight on, and why should we put a spotlight on them? Not just say we got to go ahead and be random for no reason.
Okay, so I'm pointing out that there are people that are named in there.
Ooh.
And Jay-Z and Pusha T. And people, like you said, Clinton and Trump. Let's just stick to them. I would say them people. It's more politically named people. But
okay, so now what does it say about Bill Clinton? Since you want to bring up Bill Clinton, what does it say?
His flights and shit. How many times he been over there and partied with him and shit? How they was, them niggas was friends. He even had a picture of this nigga in the crib. So like, yeah, there's a bunch of shit about their actual association. So that's my point. Like, these are people who are in high political positions and actually like. And I'm not saying that they're less important, but again, I feel that's a psyop right there to say let's talk about these entertaining people when there's real political people.
All right, so I'm giving you the floor to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it. I'm giving it. Hold on. I want you to recognize that I'm giving you the floor so you could talk about whoever you want to bring up in the files, and you glanced over them yourself. You ain't giving me no details on why Bill Clinton and his track record. This is what he did here, X, Y, and Z. I gave you the floor to do that, so you can do it yourself.
I have to give you that.
You can't even provide it. This is the issue that we have. I'm giving you what I've read so far, like in the 3 million pages. What I read so far. So if you read something about Bill Clinton, then you could build that case about Bill.
No, Bill's in the first half. We don't even need this new half. We literally do not need anything from the new half. Like, Bill is highly exposed in the first half.
All right, so what is it that you want to bring to?
So I mean, I don't know why I have to point out every pinpoint thing.
All right,
I would, if anything, I would imply for anybody.
The reason why, because you got to substantiate your own argument. What do you want me to do about your?
I have to substantiate my argument by pointing out every single last thing he's done with the nigga.
Okay, so
I think I just named enough, right?
Okay, so
okay,
I'm confused.
I can see.
Anybody? I don't understand what's your argument. Can you please go ahead? Let me let you talk, because boy,
well, like I said, we should probably spend our time actually attacking the people who got more influence over our and control over our life, rather than
go ahead and do it.
Cheese.
Do it.
This is not my show, sir. I didn't make the headline for this. I didn't make the photo. This is not my show.
So, do you want to bring up the argument of these other people, or you don't? I'm giving you the floor so you could bring up the argument that you want to push out there, the people that you want to have highlight. I'm giving you the opportunity to highlight them. Do you not want to highlight those people? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't think a conversation persists with just me talking, and that's just me trying to tell you guys stuff and whatever. I thought it was going to be a conversation, if anything.
Okay, so
that was the point of the show.
Right, for us to have the conversation,
So
you could. All right, so present the information. That's who you want to talk about. Then present the information, and then we could talk about it.
Present what information, Sharon? Which
the information that you want to talk about with these people? Do you want to take the information off of Jay-Z? You feel like that's whatever that situation is. You want to talk about these other politicians, then go ahead and bring them up. I'm giving you the floor to bring them up, and so we can have the conversation about those politicians.
And that's the issue, Cuzzo. You see, when it comes to protecting women and children, you know, they're not willing to have a dog in that fight, really, right? What his sole objective was to come on your show and defend Jay-Z, right? That's what he wanted to do.
But it's
he
not.
wanted to say, well, hey, why are we talking about these black entertainers? Leave them out of it, right?
No, I'm not.
Well, we're not.
I'm saying let's talk about people who actually affecting us.
Sir, I didn't cut you off. I was quiet. Now, every time you hear me speak, you want to cut me off. Now, just because we're talking about people who were associated and listed in those files, that does not mean we're not willing to talk about anybody else, right? So as Sharon asked you, he said, hey, who do you want to talk about that's on the list? You said nothing, right? And the reason why you said nothing is because you don't have a dog in this fight. When it comes to women and children getting violated, KT the GOAT is nowhere to be found. He doesn't want to have that conversation. The only way he wants to have that conversation is when he's trying to protect some other man he doesn't know. Just because why? Because he's of the culture, because he shares your same pigment, your same hue. And what I'm saying is, regardless of that, if you're black, white, green, yellow, if you are involved in or affiliated with the exploitation of women and children or the assault on women and children, then yes, we need to look at you with the side eye. You need to be publicly condemned, and these things need to be highlighted, because the more we talk about it, the more we highlight it, right? The more we give women and children the expression to or the platform to, talk about what they've been through, then I think that's going to be part of the solution to where we get it drilled into these degenerate men heads that you need to recalibrate. No means no. Don't affiliate yourself with people who are exploiting children. Don't get on that flight. Don't engage in that music video, etc., etc. So regardless of the level of involvement, it's problematic and it needs to be talked about. Peace and love.
Brownsville, you're making hard-ass statements, bro. Like, as somebody who should understand exactly the level of culpability, like, you're putting everybody who's ever been in a business move's life on the same plane, and that's insanity. You cannot say, we threw Patti LaBelle out there, Patti LaBelle's PR person, who was actually on the list. You can't say just because he was there, he was fucking around with little kids, bro. That's crazy work. Like,
but that's
you
not
cannot
what I said.
But you're trying to hold everybody responsible whose name was mentioned. And if your name is mentioned, that does not mean that you committed the crime. If you committed the crime, smoke them. But stop trying to smoke everybody who's ever done business with a man who does investment business.
That's correct.
insanity.
I just literally saw Whoopi Goldberg name, and I was like, I know y'all lying. And I looked a little bit further and read what they were talking about, and they were talking about a project they wanted to do with Whoopi Goldberg in a film, and thought she would make a great character in this type of film. So you can't recklessly be. Everybody mentioned in here is not associated with committing heinous sex crimes. I just wanted to throw that out there. Like unlike Hugh Hefner. I looked him up too, and we're gonna leave that right there. But
right.
yeah,
I totally agree with that. And that's not the discussion of the show. That's not what we were having. We weren't talking about Kendrick Lamar, right? Because they mentioned buying concert tickets. We weren't talking about people who was listed in the report but had no affiliation with said island or said person. What we were highlighting is Jay-Z has been accused of things, right? And one of the things he's been accused with is participation in essay of a female, right? Another thing that's been alleged is he conducted a music video on the island. Those things are problematic. And they don't need to be defended by KT to go. I'm sorry.
How is doing a music video on the island the same thing as committing essays on the island? Bro, one is a business deal, the other is not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely, I won't allow that.
No, but so it can't be a thing.
No,
cap.
Absolutely not.
That's
the reason why it can't be a thing is because we know what his island reputation is.
Fine. It's also an island that literally hundreds of famous people have put their feet on. Hundreds.
Exactly.
So we're saying hundreds of people also engaged. We're putting a dime on 100 people have put their.
Yes.
That's fucking insane.
Yes, that's what
we're
doing.
Not really. Not when you looked at those stats again about 1 in 5 women being SA'd and 1 in 3 children. That's not insane. That hundreds of adults. Yeah.
Well, Beachy, one of the things I was going to bring up to you earlier.
There's millions of sexual predators in this universe.
Come on, Beachy. One of the things I want to bring up to you earlier is in 12 or 13, Obama actually put in the Second Chance Act where Homeland Security actually helps the agency you were talking about earlier. They've been part of that whole bid for the last almost 10 years. In order to help
children.
For missing and exploited children.
Yeah, they mention them and people like they care. They still need funds and help and resources, and no one's really caring like that. And I mean, they yeah, I know. And yet we don't never hear this case is closed. So yeah, every 68 seconds somebody's still going missing. It's going higher. You know what? It didn't used to be every 68 seconds. It used to be something I can't remember what it was a few years back, but it wasn't every 68 seconds a kid come up missing so I don't know what they did, but they didn't do a good job.
And so and not only that, we cannot forget that allegedly, all this stuff is alleged. Him and Foxy Brown, allegedly. Him and Aaliyah, allegedly. Him and Beyonce, allegedly. R. Kelly, he worked with 2 albums with, did tours with. So like it's way too, and then he also did a video on the island. And then we just say, hey, we shouldn't be speaking about that. That's just wow when the case is built or is being built. Now, whether it can be,
it's wild that we talking about this case being built when this actual cases that's there. Like that's all I'm pointing out. Like it's
what case? Okay, fine. What
Donald Trump. Y'all keep saying I ain't saying nobody. I said Donald Trump and Bill Clinton.
What case about Donald Trump?
We have the evidence. He's been associated. He's made purchases with Jeffrey Epstein. He's been talked about by Jeffrey Epstein personally more than anybody else in this file.
Mm-hmm.
He's associated with him. He's literally done business with him.
Okay, like, so tell me what he's done.
What do you mean what he's done?
Okay, so like for example.
So now Jay-Z just being named around the niggas enough for you. For
example, the young lady said she woke up in a place where Harry Weinstein had some fingers inside of her and Jay-Z was sitting next to her. That is what it said in the file, right? That's the part that I read. So now tell me the part. Now tell me the part that you read that you want to talk about Donald Trump involvement with Epstein.
Sharon, nobody talking about reading the exact point of this and naming every point. Boy, you just be losing it.
KT, you're proving his point.
How?
Like you don't, because you can bring up Donald Trump's name, but you can't.
Question. Whoopi Goldberg's name in like BG just said. Are we now saying throw Whoopi Goldberg's away?
No, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. So,
and
like for example,
Jay-Z is named by who? But listen, is Jay-Z named by Jeffrey Epstein, or is we saying that he's named by somebody that said something about him being with Harvey Weinstein? And
your
again,
point,
this
bro.
This is not Jeffrey Epstein.
Hold on. Let me make sure I understand this right. You want me to talk about Trump for you. I will go and find the evidence. I don't have no problem with talking about Trump at all.
We don't need to even get in this. The first
from the beginning of this show, I was talking about how people are not going to, especially the Republicans, are not going to want to talk about it because they man is in this file 5,000 times. I already said that. So I already established that. I don't give a damn who it is. So again, if you want to bring up somebody, then you need to push your evidence that you want to talk about. Unless you just saying you want Sharon to dig up the evidence for you and talk about it for you.
You know what I'm saying? We as people probably shouldn't waste our time talking about the alleged people and maybe just stick on people who are actually like proven that we could,
but it's not
be convicted, right?
But KT, right? So if I say Donald Trump, right, I bring up the example, like in the file, it talks about him at a party, like in the very back, and a young minor girl that worked at the party came and gave him oral, and she bit down while giving oral, and he smacked her. Okay, that's in one of the files, right? That's an example on if I'm going to bring up Trump. You know what I mean? That's an example. So
no, hold up. So why do you have to have that example? Like we all know Trump in the files, right? Did you have to read every page to know Trump in the files?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have to read pages.
Before this first half, was he not already in the first half that they presented?
Yes, but it was redacted.
Yeah, so that's why. Listen, even without the redactions, they were still saying that we can clearly see that he was talking about Trump. They talking about Mar-a-Lago. That's unredacted. We know this shit.
Yeah,
okay?
but based off your point, if there's no story, we're finished.
So
because based off your point,
evidence on. Oh, go ahead.
It's based off your point and your logic, right? That we just can't associate people's name in it. Is without the story of the alleged victim telling the story, then Trump's name is just alleged in there, and we can't say nothing about it. But her statement, and there's 20 other statements from other women and other victims about Trump, Epstein, and other people. You have to bring an example. Like if you're gonna bring up Trump, bring up an example. Sharon brought up Jay-Z, and he brought up the situation with Harvey Weinstein with the finger in the girl, and when she looked to his left or right, Jay-Z was there. He brought up the Pusha T situation with the drugs and bringing people to the party. I mean, like you can just read it for yourself, but it seems like people who want to protect their people, they just read other shit and just like want to point the camera at other shit rather than reading their own people. Like for example, Trump with the palette, like with the calendar girls, he was auctioning off young girls at his hotel or whatever party that they were at, and how he would test them. He'd put their finger in their vajayjay in front of everybody. Like this is another story that's in the files. And there's another story about him is threatening to murder a girl and her uncle and her family if she ever came out. And there's hundreds of stories. Okay, so that's what we're talking about.
I'm just pointing out, do we have to name every story to say like these are people we should be going after? That's all I'm pointing out. Like I mean, some of this I know, some of this
we're trying to get you to understand. Like you cannot just accuse a person without actually having your evidence to back up and substantiate why you want to bring up that person. So when I brought up whoever I brought up, I'm giving you what the part that I personally read already. So when you bring up somebody else, bring up the parts that you read and you want to highlight so we can highlight it. If I didn't read it yet, I can't highlight it yet.
Are we all
So,
in
so
agreement
Sharon,
of how diabolical and evil and other things I won't say publicly of performing a finger test on a female and what that conclusion of that finger test gives? Are we all understanding that?
Oh yeah, that's savage. Yeah.
Because I don't think everybody does understand what that identifies from that female, what that test does. And I
Hey,
won't.
so I just put it.
Yeah, I was like,
Hey, Shadow.
question.
But I put it in the back chat. Hey, Shadow. I just put it in the back chat. That's a link to a story that they found in just one of the Epstein files. But there's multiple accounts of different victims sharing their story to the FBI, like about what Trump and what others did.
Okay. I'm also posting in the back chat where those same victims, I don't know if this is the same victim that I'm reading about, because it said, quote unquote, 12 victims have made the comment who they questioned about Trump, said Trump had no wrongdoing. So, and again, I'm not defending Trump. If what you're showing is true, he should have been in jail this morning.
So
He should be in jail this morning.
So I got a question. So what we gonna do about Jay-Z and everybody else that is presented for right now?
Nothing's gonna happen because Pam Bondi is the leader of the DOJ. If she was the same person when Epstein got caught in Florida, she was the attorney general that gave him a sweetheart deal. So nothing's gonna happen because Trump has his people and loyalists in office, and they're gonna cover this up as much as they can. And so they're not gonna investigate because it doesn't benefit them.
But I'm talking about far as we, the people, what we gonna
We can unfollow them, is we can stop paying for their music, is we can stop watching their content. Anybody that Jay-Z's funding that is connected, we stop supporting them, and we start like supporting people that we actually, know for a fact is not part of this shit.
Yeah.
That means we also got to take out everybody with Diddy too.
What about hypothetically? What about if Denzel's in there? Denzel Washington.
Let's go look at
Hold on. So let me just make sure it's clear. It doesn't matter what.
I just asking questions.
There's no need to ask anymore, right? So anybody that's watching, it don't matter what name is on there. Once they are on there and it's backed by that they doing something nefarious, especially to women and children, that is a wrap. It don't matter who the person is or how much you personally think that this person is great for our community. It don't matter once they are on there. It don't matter what name you throw out there.
Mm-hmm. I second that motion.
And that's the harsh line we gotta have. And once we can all get on one accord with that, and then now we can just start going through the files and cancel these people one by one and get on accord with that and convince everybody else to get on that same course. Stop worshiping people that are doing devilish things. That time is over. Cat Williams said it. After he said it's nothing but the truth, that's what we're going to do. We're going to deal in justice. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle they are on.
Yeah, man, y'all got to read, because I put in my man Denzel, because y'all not. And he's in there, but Jeffrey's inviting people to a premiere of the Equalizer party. And he's attached it, and he's just saying, he's talking about the movie, what it's about, and he wanted to do a premiere party. Well, that's only on the second one out of three of the 36 results I've gotten so far. So you're gonna have to read, okay? You just can't put somebody's name in and be like, oh, Denzel in there. You know,
we got to be able to substantiate our argument why we calling that person's name and what they did, what's their involvement, and do we have some evidence to what they are doing, right? Yeah. Do we have a track record of what these people are doing? So, for example, we do have somewhat of a track record of Jay-Z, even this whole paternity fraud with this alleged son dude, right? If it's proven that is his child, it would also show that he is having contact with underage girls if it was proven that was his kid, right? So all these things like is not just a coinky dink that he's connected to teenage young women.
But you
And we
know
got
what, Geronimo? But you know, the thing is, people are so biased, nobody's gonna care.
Well, we got to. So that's the problem.
Even
No.
even
That's the
let's
problem
say
that we actually
everybody,
believe.
let's say
We
everybody that's in the room and
the
everybody say,
problem, G
okay, we
Money.
gonna cancel Jay-Z.
G Money. The problem is that people feel like they are so insignificant that we don't matter. We absolutely matter.
Right.
We do. Our small voices that you want to try to put it on us, I don't accept that. My voice ain't small.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to accept that because I'm talking about it. Nobody else cares. No, what I say matters.
Right. But
And
I'm saying,
everybody else that's watching that don't want to comment, that is afraid to comment, afraid to jump out the clouds, your voice matter as well.
right. For sure. But when you go back to history, what happened with R. Kelly? There was a tape on it. David Chappelle even made a comedy skit about it.
Not only that,
People still supported R. Kelly. So that's why I'm coming up with.
He almost got away with it, G Money, because not enough people was willing to say, hey, that's effed up and we got to draw a hard line. It is time for especially our brothers to stand up and draw a hard line on what is acceptable and what is not. Stop giving the victim an excuse, victim blame, and say, well, she was 16, but she knew what she was doing with that grown-ass man. And not saying that this man used his celebrity, his age, his money, and his power to take advantage of somebody. And all these other celebrities that's connected to it in some nefarious ways, they are using their situation to take advantage of somebody. It even goes, and people keep trying to act like these are just the higher ups. It even happened with somebody as small as content creators on YouTube. They are using they clout chasing abilities to use women to fly them all the places just so they can do certain things that they would never have access to. We seeing it happening right now.
So do we need to cancel everybody with Bad Boy?
Why are we asking that question again? Right, I already answered that.
Obviously. Oh, okay. But I'm saying obviously.
I already answered that. It doesn't matter who the person is and what they're affiliated with. I don't care. So asking like, does it like it's going to change it? It doesn't matter.
So Sharon, Titan, Cool, Brownsville, G Money, everybody. Are y'all honestly? Are y'all gonna in your own community, in your own families? Are you gonna go put in your zip code for your neighborhood? Pull up the registered sex offender list that's publicly available to all of us nationwide. Identify which people in your neighborhood are registered sex offenders. Find out what they're involved in and making sure they're staying in code. They're so many miles away from a school. They're not on the same street as a school bus, that they're not being employed by places that have children. Are y'all going to take that energy and actually do this stuff in the place that you can actually make a difference and affect the world? Because y'all can't do nothing about what Jay-Z and them doing, Trump doing, etc. billionaires. Y'all don't have that reach, but you do have a reach. If you see down the street, this is my point. Y'all doing this talk, but I guarantee you put in that zip code. I don't care if it's your family member, pull up a cousin or your homeboy on the job. Are you willing to do that first? You got to start where you can make the most impact and most power, and that's in your own community. Are y'all gonna do those things? Are y'all surrounded? You know, in your area that are registered.
Beachy,
you check it regularly.
Hey, Beachy, I would love to do that. But the city that I'm in, highly aggressive. Highly aggressive.
What they got to do with you searching? They don't have your computer. What does
you said go to the doors and the people in the neighborhood and interact. But what I'm saying, the city that I'm in, highly aggressive, and they're not, and you trying to present them with something that they're not even tripping on at the moment.
What you mean they're not tripping on?
It could be. No. I understand that part, but I'm saying it can be a sticky situation. Is what I'm saying. You get
Why you keep trying to defend some? Okay, my God, look.
No, I'm just saying.
Right. You need to clean
that up. I'm just saying.
But to answer your question, BG, yes.
Right now, so you're not worried about it.
Yes. I have children, so we look up who's in the area. and whatnot. No, I'm not gonna go out and make sure that they're hundreds of feet away from the school. I'm not a police officer. Like, I'm not part of the neighborhood watch and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna do that. But what we can do is we can vote people in our local and federal government that will hold these people accountable. You know what I mean? If one of these like politicians run on a platform saying that they're gonna arrest people and reinvestigate the Epstein and all that, yeah, if they got my vote and we're gonna vote them in, and then they'll put somebody at the head of the FBI and DOJ that will go and investigate and potentially can arrest these people. So yeah, if all of us come together and find the right person to vote in, then yeah, we can hold these people accountable. But to answer your question, no, I'm not going out and
Now
making
that
sure that
sounds like a
these
plan, Cruz.
sex
That
offender.
sounds like a plan.
No,
But I do
Sure.
check the registry though.
you don't have to be aggressive.
Hey,
with
Beachy.
people, but you can make calls. I done called and told excuse me, do you know that you got a sodomizer employed over there, because he got a screenshot. Like, you just I make more impact in my own community than I could ever do with these Epstein. I can't do nothing with that. But what I can do is I check routinely, monthly, who added to that list, and if I recognize, I'm calling, I'm taking a screen. You don't even got a screenshot. You can just forward that file over to somebody else and circulate it. And that's the difference. That's what I can do, because I can't touch Jay-Z. I don't got that type of goddamn power, and I'm fine with that. But who I can touch, and I'm not talking about physically, I can make a phone call and let that's your husband. Did you know he got a charge, ma'am, this deacon? Oh, you didn't know that? Well, now you do know. Like, I mean, what are they going to do? Or that we send anonymous letters with the printouts of people like, oh, you might not know this, but your partner them over, you're going to get you caught up. It's all type of things. But I that's why I'm trying to figure out how serious you really all are. Are you sincere about trying to put a dent on people knowing who the predators really are? Because I guarantee you, out of all of us, not none of us in any community that is exempt from a pedophile, a predator, a sexual assault. They're all around us. There's probably a couple on the street right now. I haven't checked in a couple months. Somebody done moved in somewhere, and I'm gonna see them pop up, and I'm gonna say, well. Down here on Turner Street, turn left, the house on the right, y'all. We got a free, that type of stuff. I'm just curious, do y'all actually do anything for real, or is just I'm out for the commentary too, but I'm just curious.
So Queen, what you're saying is 100% totally right, and what men should be interested in doing to protect their community, right? And you can do it in a various amount of ways, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we're doing right now online today is spreading awareness, right? Which is why I'm happy that you came on a panel to speak from your point of view on how it may affect women, right? Or young girls who may be victims of this type of situation. Now, as far as my community, yeah, I'm very, very active when it comes to missing children, when it comes to the registry, when it comes to community watch. Very, very, very acclimated in responding to all of those things. Like you articulated, how far they have to be away from school zones. When and where can they, pick their kids up and drop them off, et cetera, right? All of those things matter. Because we know that once they're on a registry, the reason why we have a registry, because we understand that there's a strong propensity for them to offend again, right? Once they offend the first time, it's a strong propensity that they're going to reoffend. So that's why the registry was created in the first place. So I believe what you're saying is correct. It's a call to action, and all of these men who are listening and on the panel should be doing their own due diligence in their community. I'm sure if you go into your community, there's at least a Facebook group that has been created that shows the registry and shows where people live and gives you certain information, right? I would encourage you to participate in it, be an advocate for it, and be a resource, right? Because guess what? your family and the protection of your community should be your responsibility, not just local law enforcement, right? Because oftentimes you as a community member, you may be made aware of something before law enforcement is made aware of it, right? So you can do something to prevent an SA or, you know, nefarious interaction that transpires between an adult and a child, et cetera, et cetera. So take what the queen is saying with vigor and become active in your community to prevent other situations like the Epstein Files, right? Because guess what? There's an Epstein file pretty much in every community.
Bam. And that's what I was waiting to hear. We
right?
the walking talking Epstein Files, y'all, like in our community. I was waiting for somebody to say that. Thank you.
Right. And really it's time for upstanding men to take personal responsibility in your community to highlight the Epstein file and also protect it in a way to where those people won't feel comfortable in re-offending the people of your community. And you should not be idle.
Hello.
Yo, Brownsville, I definitely agree with you, Brownsville. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or promote my channel, but for people that know me and follow me on my sector of YouTube, they know that I'm renowned for hunting down cults. For example, the Rashad Jamal cult, the Nature Boy cult, the Pharaoh cult, the Black Hammer cult. And I've helped a lot of people not get into these cults. I've worked with law enforcement to help track down missing people when it comes to these guys leaving their families to go join these cult movements. So I do what I can for my community. Obviously, I could probably do more. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's all we can do is make awareness and do what we can locally. So I definitely agree with Beachy on that, for sure.
Welcome to the show.
Another female.
Welcome to the show. Koja, good day. Happy New Year.
Hey, strangers. Happy New Year to everybody. And if you was here when the Brother Polite stuff was going down and y'all was sitting up agreeing with the man who got the psychology thing, who they say is under investigation for Medicaid fraud, I'm going to call BS. Because when I stepped up here and BMT, and you know his name, I ain't gonna call his name because you know they say he might be he under investigation for all them frauds and stuff. And he was like, what that song was? Brown sugar, light chocolate, hot coffee, whatever songs he was singing. Everybody was up here on my ass, and he was like, "Oh, I've defended cases in Florida." I was like, "No, that mother did what she was supposed to do. If she didn't, Florida wouldn't have let her go." The Menzies was up here, cut my mic, defending them. We all know the predators in the community. We see them at the corner store. We see them around. Sometimes they be our teachers. Sometimes they be the band instructors. Sometimes it was the old man who had married one of his girls' dresses in the classroom. When these men be mentoring, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the young boys, but I'm only hanging with the young boys so I can get the young girls," and saying that broke men don't need to date, meaning that young teenagers and young men of 20 years old don't need to date because they trying to cleanse the palate so they could come in because I'm the older man with the money. Do you call them out? Do you broke men so to clear the plate for all the old men who got a little bit of change could come in. See, Brother Polite and see, but when I was somebody with a degree who under investigation now, all men was like, "Oh, I don't know what she was talking about." But Sharon, was you part of that when that was going down?
I don't believe so. You know, I don't.
And I was standing on business. And men was protecting men.
You know, I don't do that lovers of men thing. I don't protect no men from doing degenerate behavior.
don't know if you was in the space or not when it was the Brother Polite. What that was, less than 2 years ago.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't protect.
Yeah.
I'm not a lovers of men. I don't protect any man
But
that's doing criminal behavior. And everybody should know that about me. By now.
well, they were defending Brother Polite, and they were talking about the mama. Even though the mama called the police and did what she was supposed to do as a mother, and they let that child. And I was calling out policy and law and statutes. But since my mama only worked for the Department of Children and Family for like 25 years as a child abuse investigator and elderly abuse investigator, and we discussed all of those things as an adult in my life, and I was lowering the statutes, they called me a liar. I guess I ain't had enough degrees, or maybe it was my gender, or maybe men was protecting men, saying the mama shouldn't have did this, but the mama ain't in jail, but Polite in jail, because had the mother not done that, they would have took that child from her and never let her go home. See, she came within minutes. She was called the whole time and was up there gender banging instead of looking at the law. Back in Palm Beach County, because I grew up in Palm Beach County, which is Trump's stomping ground. What's never going to make it into the news is the number of children that went missing that time through foster care, and why the Department of Children and Families, which is the Child Abuse Investigatory Agency, had to be rebranded because they lost so many children. And now it's DCF, but
Koja, you
HRS,
haven't,
service, and them business whole entire.
Koja, you having microphone issues. I can't fix it on my side. I'm just letting you know that you're having microphone issues.
I just really said what I had to say. I'm gonna drop down, but I just wanted to drop that thing about.
Hey, Sharon, I just want to tell you that I'm about to go, man. Thank you for having me up.
No doubt. Appreciate you, G Money. Yeah, and you know, and we do see that it is a lot of men that give excuses for men. That ain't going on my channel. It ain't never been on my channel. Everybody know it. I got a long history of not allowing that on my channel. Going on 3 years now of not allowing men to just say BS on my channel since I started my channel. So just for anybody that want to question, because I always get questioned, even though I have plethora of proof behind my years on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I ain't trying to bring up the past, because that ain't nothing to do with Sharon channel, but it's a space, a sphere that do be protecting the men in their devious behavior, because some of us ain't forgot about that somebody's moderator who got off the panel about 6-7 years ago and irked the wife and his stepdaughter. When I tried to speak on the story, they told me to shut up and threaten me, and I was new here. I need to mind my business, and that's what I did. But I'm just stating, we ain't forgot. And that was somebody's moderator. I'm just, but he got locked up and he in jail, but y'all kept that quiet over there in certain spaces. I didn't want us talking about it, but the whole moderator got off the stream. Murked the dang gone wife and her daughter.
Lord have mercy. That's craziness. Yeah, that is crazy. And I do understand that these conversations are not easy to because when you're looking just for justice, you're gonna have some principles, and you cannot just gender bang, and you cannot just political party bang when these type of information come out, right? Because we're gonna find out that there's a bunch of women that's going to be exposed in these files as well. Right, we're gonna find out as well. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out it's gonna be Republicans a part of it, Democrats a part of it, independents, entertainers, all types of industry leaders. All
yes, ladies, we're not gonna act like ladies don't be pushing.
Absolutely,
the madams be pushing these girls. That's who really, you know what?
You need women to do it, right? Because you need to bring a woman's defense down a little bit, right? So this is a situation when you want justice. It don't matter what gender, what political party you're a part of, what color the person is, black, white, or indifferent, Spanish, whatever. You're a part of it, and you attached to it with some nefarious acts. you should go down, and we the people got to speak up about it as much as we possibly can. And it's just what it is. We got to try to get more attention. We need to make it okay to have these kind of conversations as well, not just talk about, you know, we see so many channels that have conversations about relationships, and then the people that's associated with their relationship, none of them are in strong relationships. I don't even know how they maintain, at this point in my life, I don't even understand how they maintain such a big audience of people that are not a part of relationships. The more they be having conversations, Beachy, right? The person will come to the show. They started off happily married. 1 year later, they like, man, I'm getting divorced. What? So clearly, this goddamn channel that you've been frequently for the past year or two ain't help you at all. And I don't be understanding it, but people will still go back to that shit, watch a whole bunch of people that are not good at relationships, and they'll go back to having those conversations and everything. It is mind-boggling.
And I can double down on that, and I can show you several channels where women came on and they had custody of their children, and in under 2 years, they've lost custody of their children over YouTube, but they came on panels to speak about families and children, and they don't even have custody anymore. So what about them? It's a whole gang of them.
That's insane. That's insanity to me.
Over you, yeah.
I so me, I don't know nothing about that. So you just put me onto a scenario that I had no idea about. But that's insane. It's insanity to me.
They shouldn't be allowed to speak. If it was up to me, I won't sit on panels with them. If you can keep your child, and you're not gonna sit next to me on no panel, and we don't got nothing to talk about. Like, you could do all type of fuckery, but you play around and lose custody of your children, and we don't need to be having a conversation. I mean,
children, 100%. You better not tell me no parenting. Hey, that's crazy. Let's get up out of here. We hit the 5-hour mark. I think we did a really good job of starting the conversation about these Epstein Files that we finally got out in the world. Nobody knew it was going to be 3 million pages. Lord, that's a lot of reading people are going to have to do. People don't understand 3 million pages and 2,000 videos. That's a lot.
That got to be broken. You got to make a team of people to break it down. Like, okay, Sharon, you're gonna get 50,000 in the read, and Brownsville, you take this 75. Like, it can't no, you can't do that on your own. Like, you won't be able to retain the information. You'll get lost in it. So we need a team of people and break that down and do it that way. That's the only way you're gonna get past 3 million pages. How many videos? 200?
2,000.
2,000.
A lot.
Yeah. So anybody want to sign up for the Epstein Files? Study group investigations. We got a study group going for the Epstein Files. If you want to join in for study session and research section.
Hey, cuz, you got any final thoughts?
Peace and love, everybody. Enjoy your week and listen to what Queen Beachy said. Get active in your community. There's an Epstein file attached to every community. And, it's up to you on your level of commitment to stopping, more Epstein files from being created.
Absolutely. And make sure we got over 130 people still here. Make sure y'all drop a comment after the show is over. It really helps us out. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all.
Nothing wrong with being. Let me